took me, like, as you know, like 10 times before I loved Tenet. And I think you rightly say, is it a good movie if you have to watch it 10 times?
Sure. I've watched many movies 10 times, but why
But
should
you
I have
already
to?
loved it, which seems
no,
very literally
just eat more
built into
Brussels
that.
sprouts. Eventually you'll love them.
Eventually, you're going to adapt your, like, if you eat enough oatmeal, it's going to start tasting good.
Welcome to another CG garage where the monstrous moon shines. We're building new Hollywood like in 1970. One's prime, from Otter's bold dreams to AI's fevered dream, where tech meets the silver or LED screen. Pixels and passion are pipelines unknown. Two hosts, one show on a deadline post.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the CG Garage. This is episode number 559, which is going to be one of our Moonshine Drive-In episodes where Daniel and I talk about a very specific movie. And of course, we're going to talk about The Odyssey. Now you're saying, oh, well, Chris and Daniel have talked about The Odyssey. Yes, we have. We've talked about it mostly in the context of visual effects being sort of slighted in the marketing push for this. Nonetheless, we wanted to talk about the movie itself. And we figured, you know, a lot of people are talking about whether it was done all practically or whether there really were jet skis that did the whirlpool or not. And we do touch on it. We can't avoid necessarily talking about it. But the more specific thing that we wanted to talk about was, is it actually a good movie or not? Yeah, we wanted to talk about the actual quality of the movie and whether the story worked. And spoiler alert, yes, it is. It's a very good movie. And if you listen to us why we think it is, I think it's actually pretty interesting. And something that unfortunately people don't talk about enough is whether actually a movie is good or not. So it's a really great conversation. And it's really nice to sort of put this in context. You know, we've talked about some interesting films over the last few months, including The Devil Wears Prada 2, Obsession, Backrooms, and Disclosure Day, and The Odyssey. And so all of these films are just kind of coming out, and sort of seeing where Hollywood is going is kind of interesting and fascinating, and really love talking about this one. So really cool. Definitely recommend seeing it in theaters if you can. See it in IMAX if you can. 70 millimeter. That's your choice if that's what you'd like to see. I saw it in digital IMAX and it was fantastic. So still a great option if you guys want to see that. So yeah, please do see it. I don't really have any big announcements in terms of events or anything going on that I will be at, but I do want to let you know that our social media presence is growing. Finally sort of launched our TikTok. Yes, finally launched a TikTok. If you'd be interested in following us there, just go to tiktok.com/@CG Garage Podcast. TikTok.com/@CG Garage Podcast. But for now, please enjoy episode number 559 with The Odyssey.
This episode of CG Garage is sponsored by CenterGrid Virtual Studio. Wondering why you went to film school just to be stuck managing hardware life cycles? CenterGrid delivers end-to-end GPU-accelerated cloud workstations built specifically for VFX and creative production, with flat, predictable pricing and personalized support from people who actually get your workflow. Plus, CenterGrid is TPN Gold Shield certified, so your studio's security is locked down. Check out what Virtual Studio can do for your pipeline at cgvirtualstudio.com.
My friend, did you see The Odyssey?
I saw The Odyssey, which is apparently very difficult to do now if you're trying to see it in 70 millimeter.
70 millimeter, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I saw it in IMAX, not in 70 millimeter. I saw it in digital IMAX, which actually I thought was great.
Yeah, the same here. I thought it was great.
High dynamic range for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Massive dynamic range, which is harder to get in film, to get that level of dynamic range.
Yep.
So I thought that was a bonus. Honestly, if I were to give a choice between resolution and dynamic range, I'd almost pick dynamic range.
It's kind of toss up. I've been to some screens that I'm like if
as long as they don't do the tone mapping correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it really has to be, great. Otherwise it's like, it gets pretty fucking aliasy and bizarre. And like that is just, then you just feel like you're watching a giant fucking TV, which is what you are doing. But like, you know, I mean, like, the thing is like grain is also a flaw, but it's a romantic flaw as opposed to I'm sitting too close to the TV flaw.
I understand.
I can't imagine a movie in the future, movie making in the future. There's not going to be an After Effects pull down to add more aliasing.
Give me more JPEG artifacts.
Yeah, we need more JPEG. Yeah, exactly.
Remind me of
more
the old
banding.
days.
That's what really is good.
Yes,
Lots more banding. That's fantastic.
That's a look, right? I mean, it's interesting. Lens flares is another one. It's supposed to be an artifact, but we now romanticize lens flares.
Yeah, it's romanticized. It adds this actually leads into the conversation very well, because what is romantic about chemical film grain and what's romantic about lens flares is that they are things that happen in the camera, and voila, we're at the Odyssey.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to do a couple things. We've already talked about elements of the Odyssey in several other episodes. So, specifically, we talked about the visual effects and how we think the marketing is trying very hard to pretend that there was no visual effects, or to just not have a discussion. They're not trying to completely pretend they're not there, but they're doing everything
Nolan's
possible.
Being relatively open about it, but
no one's showing a behind the scenes of a wireframe of a cyclops. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I love that everyone keeps on showing the puppet cyclops, and they're like, and they didn't do anything to it. I'm like, does it look like the wooden puppet? No. So I'm pretty sure they did something.
Pretty sure they did something. There's an animator who's has an NDA. He's not supposed to say anything.
Like there's a guy that's playing the thing. There's the CG that's wrapped around it. There's the comp. There's the blah. There's the whole thing. But again, like as we said before, it's the Barnum and Bailey aspect of what he is doing, of getting people excited to come to the theater to participate in this big we love movies deal. And I'm in general, I'm quite for it. I think it's a really great thing. I love that people are going to are flying across the country to go see the 70mm projection in the Vista. I think that's like a great film fun experience. It's like I drove with my son across from LA to Austin to go see a print of Mandy, just like this. It's just a blast. It's a good thing to do, and it makes people excited about movies. So I'm all for it. I just don't like as you said, the marketing manipulation of it turns into some bad news down the road, and it is a little frustrating.
Sure. And what I'm going to do is actively try not to bring that up too much on this one, because
that's about all we need. Go listen to the other episodes. We talk a lot about it.
Yeah, we talk a lot about it. Speaking of the Alamo outhouse, Alamo draft house. Thank you.
Yeah.
The first time I ever went, before I knew it was a thing, before anyone really knew it was a thing, I was in Austin, and go to this theater. You can get a cocktail and watch a movie, and there's a bar. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And I did. I watched Rear Window there.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Now it's a big thing. Speaking of which, I believe that they bought the ArcLight.
Oh, really? Oh, good God. Thank God.
So I think ArcLight might
sitting
turn into something. Yeah.
That's great.
For those of you who don't know, the ArcLight was a very famous ArcLight is a chain, but they owned
the Cinerama Dome.
Cinerama Dome, which is a famous movie theater in Hollywood, obviously where the Cinerama Dome itself is, but there's also many other theaters. And they redid it beautifully inside. Is actually, believe it or not, Daniel, one of my first projects as an architect in Los Angeles was working on the renovation of that theater, doing renderings of that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, what is this? And so we went there for when it first opened back in the early 2000s. It was fantastic. Still is a very great theater, and they restored the Cinerama Dome great. But all of ArcLight, I believe, collapsed after the pandemic or during the pandemic.
Yeah, I believe that's true. Right.
And so the one in Sherman Oaks got bought by Regal and a bunch of that. But the Cinerama Dome itself has been sitting empty, boarded up for a long time.
Years now. Yeah, it's a real
years.
Great theater. And that was easily my favorite theater in Los Angeles overall.
It
and
definitely
you could they had a great, restaurant there. They had the perfect, I don't drink anymore, but they had the perfect bar.
They did.
Which is it's a relatively short little bar they had. And what's great about bars in movie theaters is because everyone, the turnover is extremely high because everyone's just getting a drink and then going to a movie, or maybe having a drink after they've seen the movie, but they're headed home. And so you don't get too many people sort of
lingering
or anything so everything remains fresh, and everyone is talking about movies all the time. That's all they're thinking
Right.
about and all they're talking about. So if you did plan to linger, like I'd go see a movie in the morning, right? And then, have a beer at lunch and eat lunch at the bar, talk movies, and then go see a movie at 2 p.m. and then go back out and have dinner and do the same thing again. You'd be talking about movies all day long. Like it was a giant podcast. It was absolutely fantastic. And there's no other scene in LA quite like that. It was really, really, really great. And I'm glad to hear at least part of it's coming back.
Yeah, I saw, speaking of Odyssey ship movies, I saw Master and Commander there.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
That must be
nice. And what is it about ship movies and storms that makes them so loud?
Oh, I know. This one was loud.
I've heard it is so loud it actually blew out many speakers.
I believe it. People have I know people have a lot of beef with Nolan and his sound design. My family is not big fans of loud sound. I love ridiculously loud sound. I think that's really fun.
I don't mind it, but this was
like, wow.
It was you could feel it.
When the Cyclops
4D.
is screaming, you're like, jeepers creepers. This is like being at a front row at an AC/DC concert. It's insane.
It's very loud.
Yeah.
Very loud.
That was nuts.
And so here's the thing that I'm interested in. The thing that everyone talks about how this movie was made, and we'll probably talk about some of that, although I'll be avoiding some of the VFX beef that I have. I do want to talk about, is this actually a good movie or not? Because that's what we really should be discussing, or people should be discussing.
Sure.
And no one really discusses whether it's a good movie or not. I do think it's gotten a lot of good attention. Like, I like the attention it gets, right? Regardless of the marketing stuff, but like the memes of people putting, stringing bows is hilarious to me.
No, it's hilarious. I mean, though my favorite has got to be the one of the filmmaker, like putting the last ball clip in the umbrella for
I sent that one too.
An umbrella light that you put, and it's like and strums it. That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
Yeah. It was a good film overall, a good story. Now, here's the thing. It's the Odyssey, right? You start with the story is already written.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, it's what you do with it that makes it decent.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Like adaptation is at least my feelings on adaptation in general are like, if I want things to be like the book or the poem in this case, but if I want things to be like the book, I have the book. Like, I read books. Like, if I want it to be like the book, you can, I'll just read the book. That's great. If you're going to make a movie out of something, like, I expect you to, like, you're not doing a book report. Like, you're making something that is using the source material as a way to talk about the ideas that it made you have. Because I'm interested in what you have to say as a filmmaker and as an artist, not the exactitude with which you repeat, something that I could read in another media. And like one of my favorite adaptations is Alex Garland's adaptation of the book Annihilation. There it is. And Annihilation
has nothing to do with the book.
It is like, it feels identical to the experience of the book. Like, it feels totally the same.
Right.
There is nothing in that movie that's in that book at all. Like, virtually nothing. There's a couple of things. There's no screamy bear. There's no, like, the characters don't have names. Like, there's no, there's no lighthouse. Like, the book, like, they're descending into the ground, doing into an infinite spiral staircase with writing all the way down the spiral. Like, that's what's happening in the book, right? And there's no crocodile, there's no blah, blah, none of that stuff.
Right.
But you watch the movie and you could see Alex Garland had just freshly read the book and it's like, I want to deliver a movie experience that fucks me up in the way that this book does.
Right.
Right. And that's what makes it good. Like, it makes it a fresh new work of art that rhymes with the with the source material. Or if you're doing something like Paul Verhoeven made Starship Troopers, like I love the original novel Starship Troopers. It's incredibly fun, but it's like a libertarian pro-militaristic fantasy, right?
Right.
And then the director, Verhoeven, like grew up, fearing Nazi occupation. And he's like, screw this book. I'm going to make a comedy out of it that is a warning about Nazism.
Yeah, it's like making a book out of Mein Kampf.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that that's the best way to look at adaptations. Like I read The Odyssey a long, long time ago. But it's clear that Nolan is interested in saying something personal about how he feels about the world today. It's like, it's incidentally The Odyssey. But that is
that's the right responsibility. That's the responsibility. And here's an important part of The Odyssey. Here is a book or a story or a narrative that is a mythology. In fact, the definition of mythology really this is the original mythology, right? That is still studied in today, right?
Right.
In high school, or at least in American high schools and stuff, right? People aren't studying Gilgamesh in high school, but they are studying The Odyssey, right? So it is very important to sort of that narrative. So everyone knows these stories, right? It is some may know them more than the Bible in some cases, right?
Yeah, these are like, or at least the effect. Like this story has affected all Western storytelling,
right?
Since
and there's a lot of mythical things that happen in this that are narratives that are metaphors for other things. So this is the thing that I thought was interesting, because I was like, where is Nolan going to take this? Right? What is he going to do with this? Because like with Batman, right? What I enjoyed about The Dark Knight and all that stuff is that he's like, what if Batman was just possible?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
as opposed to not really, right?
Right.
So I'm wondering, is he going to take these mythical stories like the cyclops and the witch and everything, and turn them into a metaphor as opposed to something literal, right? What if the cyclops was just a giant person that lost an eye, right? Essentially, what if he was, what's his name? John Goodman in Oh Brother Where Art Thou,
another Odyssey.
He plays the cyclops in the Odyssey, right?
Exactly.
So that's what I was wondering, is that what it's going to be? If that's how it's going to happen? But it didn't, right? In fact, I've actually was thinking about Oh Brother Where Art Thou a lot while watching this movie, because they are both adaptations.
Yep. Very directly.
But it was much more literal. Like there's actually the cyclops was really there, right? Yeah. The witch was there. The sirens were there.
Right. Well, and he I think in a sense he kind of has it both ways, because there's
does.
Here's like I'll put my cards on the table. I thought this movie was unbelievably good and really, really unique. I was just like, this is a real landmark movie to have been made. I haven't seen a movie like this in a long time. Now, where that stacks up, because there's a difference between, say, for instance, like if you're talking about Michael Mann, right? Like his best movie, I think almost inarguably is Heat, right?
Okay.
But I mean, at least it's like Heat's in the dialogue with top two or three, right?
In terms of his best films,
in his best films, just Michael Mann's best films. Now, and that's how I feel, right? Do I watch Heat as much as I watch Miami Vice? Maybe no.
Sure.
like there's something that I obsess about with Miami Vice that's particular to me, but I can still I'm not that much of a dummy. I will look at Heat and say like, well, that is an absolute American masterpiece in every way across the board. And so I feel like just on the surface of things, like for instance with Oppenheimer, like I think Oppenheimer is an extremely well-made movie that I really, really enjoyed. I think it's one of Nolan's best made movies. Yep. And almost a sort of a bookend to the Odyssey as well. But but I really only seen it maybe 2 or 3 times now. Like I'm just like, that's a great film, and I will enjoy it, and I will watch it, and I will definitely enjoy it. Whereas like you've been patient enough to let me go on about Tenet and how many times I've seen that friggin' movie, which is like upwards of 35 times now. Like there's a difference between my favorite and best. But with The Odyssey, it is definitely in the mix for both. Like I'm like, I really had a great time. Like it's a blast of a movie. Like, and the more I thought about it afterwards, the more I found to chew on about it, which is that's the real long-term meat and potatoes for me. I'm just like, I love it when a movie is super exciting and really fun and, you know, and delivers the goods on the day when you watch it. Right. And that can make things very repeat viewing oriented. But I really like when a movie is like, you know, like when I'm trying to get to sleep and I'm like, oh, you know what? This is true, or this is interesting. Right. And Odyssey stuck with me for many days afterwards. And I'm definitely in the camp of like, this was a really interesting, very successful and extremely fun movie to watch.
I didn't necessarily have that same experience, but I'm not going to say it was a bad movie in any way, shape, or form. It was a very, very good movie. It just wasn't as memorable as that for me. Sure. And it was a strong movie. I think there's something about Nolan that has a little bit of, you know, like my feeling about Tarantino, for example, right? I respect him as a director and I think he's very interesting, but after a while, there's a little eye rolling going on.
There's something that, I was actually going to bring this up because Tarantino was the obvious touchstone on this, but like I reflected on the fact that like, because like it's definitely true for Nolan. People have like they either have patience for something that Nolan does, or they're just like, so are we really gonna fucking do this again? Or like, oh, it's this thing that he like, and people just get tuckered out by him in some way, and like yes, and I get it. I think it's a valid point of view at very least. Sure. The weird way that it has expressed itself for me is that I'm not really big on anything before Interstellar. Like, oh, interesting. Like I like Memento. I think the opposite. Memento's fine. Yeah. I think it was The Dark Knight. To be very honest, it was something about the way really good movie. He brought something different to a franchise that honestly we were just like, are we going to do another one of these, right? Yeah. And now it's just the same old thing over and over again. But when he did it, it was like, okay, well, this feels different. This feels interesting, really novel, right? Yeah. And it was the same way, like for example, when they did Spider-Verse, right? I was like, okay, well, this is an interesting. Now there's a reason to watch this thing. There's a reason to watch it. And so I think when he did The Dark Knight, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And there was something about, you know, his honesty about it. Right. Mm-hmm. And it, certainly, I mean, I'm saying that he didn't do his, but there was something about the honesty of the character more in the story felt more grounded and more believable. And somehow that made it more interesting. And so that part I do, but then it became a lot about the spectacle, which I guess I'm fine with that. Right. I mean, honestly, I'd be curious to see what Peter Jackson would have done with The Odyssey. He could have done an incredible job. That would be a fascinating one also. I mean, man. Like, because I mean, that just feels very. It would have been an entirely different movie, very different, right? And I feel that like part of because I mean, just listening to how people and like you know, if people don't like movies, I don't fight them on it. It's okay. You're welcome to not like things. Sure. It's totally fine. And in fact, like my only point of view ever is like, if I don't like something and other people like it, like I want to like it. Like I want to find ways to like things, even if I don't like them originally. Right? Same. And it's part of the reason you and I had to have discussions, because you and I have discussions, and then I come to appreciate things, right? Well, it's just like it's good. It's better. It's a better use of our life to find things that are interesting in things and stuff that some people don't want to do that, man. I don't know. I get it, because I was like that. They just want to stick to. I'll give you an example. Short example. Another one. So, you know, there's been this discussion, obviously, about the fact that some of our intro songs are using AI and stuff like that, right? Right. And so I've actually brought it up on the podcast several times, and I even put it in the intro, like how someone just makes a comment about AI and they lose their shit. Right. There was a comment on that particular podcast saying, "The minute you defended AI, I'm out." Yeah. Like, right. Okay. So hold on. First of all, they were not out.
they made a comment. Right? So they made their point that they wanted to make on the public so that I can make something, and then I left. But I'm still going to monitor that point in case anyone has anything to say. All right. So you're not really out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like when I was young,
and by the way, I never defended AI. If you ever listen to it, they only just listen to 5 seconds because that's all they have time for in their short, ridiculous brain.
Yeah.
You know, like they can't actually spend the time to have a conversation with someone or listen to it.
Yeah, like I mean, I think that like on our Discord, we actually had an interesting conversation about it. Like there was, there was real, like that was good. That was really useful because I feel like they
and it was good that people brought it up to say I have opinions about it. I don't think
that's great.
This is why I don't like what you do, and it's like let's have a conversation.
This is interesting.
That's what Discord's for.
Right.
And I am working through that feedback, and I am working on things, but in more like
yeah. But it just like when the conversation just turns into like, how could you even? I'm just like, okay, we don't have to do that right now. That's fine. Yeah. It's not a big deal, But so it's just like, in regards to Nolan, I just think it's sort of weird that I just realized I'm like, I understand where people are coming from. I just, for some reason, my sort of exasperation with him is more to do with his early films than his later films, and I don't know what.
That's interesting.
I have trouble spotting why that turns over for me, but I'm way more forgiving of the things that, that are Nolanisms that people don't like.
He's my Frank Gehry, to be honest. And
okay.
Yeah. I brought this up before, like about Frank Gehry, about how I really loved his earlier work as a decon fan, right?
Sure.
As a deconstructivist architecture
You want the chicken wire.
I love the fact that he was using plywood and chicken wire and using that as part of his aesthetic. And then as he became more successful, he was more and more removed from the process. And the projects were getting insanely expensive using titanium
for
cladding. Yes. And then the buildings cost billions and billions of dollars. And I was like, that kind of loses its
loses the punk edge.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, just make this out of marble. I don't care. You know what I mean? And it was something, I know. There's a point. The whole point to me about the decon movement was that it was a little edgy, a little bit.
Right.
It was a rebellion against the terrazzo marble granite floors of fancy postmodern.
Like any good deconstructionism, it's there to knock the garbage off.
So for me with Nolan, there was something about the way that he was sort of bringing honesty to the characters. Right? In The Dark Knight specifically that I really appreciated and that kind of stuff. I don't know why I keep going back to The Dark Knight, but I even saw it in Inception, right? There was something interesting about those characters, and there was a way to make that interesting.
This is an interesting point because I think the thing...
But then it became all about how expensive this movie was to make, as opposed to the story.
I feel like what he gets. I think you're kind of right because like
he gets into the Cameron side of things. That's all.
Well, he gets into something this is probably it. Like what he starts focusing on is something that I really love, and this is probably why I don't. Like the other stuff doesn't bother me. Is like he gets way more into structural experimentation and sort of like formal experimentation than he is into characters. And I think I can see that being a flaw, but his experimentation is so interesting to me that I think I get the satisfaction out of that. Like the way he's using structure to say things is unlike, because Tarantino, man, I love Tarantino. Like Tarantino is also a great structuralist, right? And like even when he's not telling things out of order, he's doing really interesting things structurally with characters.
Right.
But Tarantino rarely writes as deep a character as he did with, say, Pam Grier and Jackie Brown.
That's the best. That's
which is incredible. Film. Which is totally incredible. Now, Jackie Brown is not my favorite Tarantino movie. But for me, like my favorite Tarantino movie is like his last couple are in the like.
Let me guess. Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I think Inglourious is incredible. Like that's a purely structuralist movie. Like there's no characters in that movie at all. It's all structure, right? And the structure is is fascinating to me. And I suppose that like that's actually the one I like. And like I think that what Nolan has been trying to do is trying to bring like Dunkirk is his most like purely structuralist thing where there's barely a character to follow. Like there's just an event, right? And it's about orchestrating the time sink on this event. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's a weird thing by itself. And I think he's been trying to bring character back into his movies since then. Like Oppenheimer is about a guy and it's a supposedly a movie about a character, but it's so reserved that it still feels very formalist. Like it's not like you're not like it's not like you're watching like a Daniel Day-Lewis style character performance. Like it's about showing you almost nothing at all, right?
Right.
But that's what I think with Odyssey he got closer to having things both ways than he has yet done. And because obviously like I love Tenet, but Tenet is all about about those characters not being able to communicate, right? Like it's like these characters do not like what is busted, but on purpose and interesting about Tenet is that it's impenetrable emotionally the first time, and that's why most people don't enjoy the movie, which is fair, right? And only through rewatch do you go, oh, there are characters here. This is emotionally interesting, right? And which is why I love the movie. But like it took me like, as you know, like 10 times before I loved Tenet. And I think you rightly say, is it a good movie if you have to watch it 10 times?
So I have that. I've watched many a movies 10 times, but why?
But you already loved it.
But I loved it to start with, right?
Right.
I don't like. I guess I have to watch it again to start to love it. It's like
this, which seems very literally
just eat
built
more Brussels
into that.
Sprouts. Eventually, you'll love
Eventually, you're going to adapt your like. If you eat enough oatmeal, it's going to start tasting good. Okay. But with Odyssey, I think that he learns, this is what I really love about him, is with all of his movies seem like an experiment for the next movie he's going to make. And he tries to learn from that. And so what he learned from Tenet to Oppenheimer and into the Odyssey is like, I want to tell a story that is very personal and has characters that you like. But I also I have this structural thing I want to do. And so how can I build it so that I have the discovery effect of Tenet, having to rewatch Tenet without actually forcing people to rewatch the movie, right? And so here's my pitch to you, right? Here's why this movie worked for me, right? This movie, The Odyssey, but Matt Damon's key opening line is 10 years on this fucking beach. Let's go home. Right?
Right.
And then it is quite some time before he gets home. And every single place they go to, every single place in the movie is the beach.
Right.
Like he has not emotionally left the beach. Now, this makes it a little boring for some people. They don't like the fact that it doesn't actually change its setting at all. And basically, it's the same. It's like they go in and then they are attacked and then they run to the ships and then they like all this. And it goes over many, 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 many times.
Sure.
Right. But like it struck me like heaven is a beach in this movie with Charlize Theron. Like the island of the Lotus Eaters is a beach. Hell literally is a beach. Like he hasn't left. He can't go home.
Purgatory.
It's because he is in the purgatory of his own heart.
Sure.
He's like, I have not left this. So what Nolan is doing is making you rewatch Tenet 7 times until the end of the movie. And then he's like, The Odyssey. And like, it's at the end that you go, oh shit, it was actually saying something the whole time. Like, and I'm just like, that's a really deft trick. Like, he's like, because even as I was watching, I was like, this is really cool, but I don't feel like it's adding up to a lot. Right. And then in the end of the movie, when they bring it all together, it almost forces you to rewatch the experience in your mind. And then you go, I was seeing it through Matt Damon's eyes as opposed to seeing Matt Damon from outside of this.
Sure.
And that is the emotional reveal that he has been trying to make happen, right? And
what I thought was interesting is it is a 3-hour movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the point of the movie is like, oh my God, this is taking so long.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right.
So 3 hours really helps that narrative.
It's a simulation. It's
right.
like,
but there's actually
right.
two this is taking too long that are actually different timelines, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
One is that the suitors all hanging out and they have to see how long they can make this last before he comes back.
The suitors, i.e. The Reddit subthread of the Odyssey.
The Reddit subthread of the Odyssey, right? Yeah. Yeah, the InfoWars of the Odyssey.
The InfoWars.
And 4chan of the Odyssey. Those guys, right, are they're sitting there and they're just like, oh, no, we're going to take over. We're going to take over the government. We're going to take over the government. January 6th is coming. Yeah. January 6th is happening. Like that, right? So those guys, right? And you're sitting there like, how long can we hold these guys off? And that's not that long, maybe a couple of years, right? Yeah, but then then while you're waiting for that to happen, the parallel story is him trying to get back, which is an even longer timeline.
Yeah,
but you feel just as much of the anticipation, right?
Wait, this is a great thing. That's brilliant because like that's actually the same thing he experimented with in Dunkirk.
Right.
He's like, these are 3 different time scales, but the emotional intensity of each of them is the same, right? And so like he's like, I'm going to use this trick. This trick worked really well for me here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use this trick over here, and I'm going to add it up into this thing. Like it's really, really
fascinating. And he does that exactly as you said. They're like, oh my God, how long have these guys been here? Or oh my God, we've been on this beach for 10 years. Yeah. That's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, okay, are we going to go back in time? It's like, well, a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to go back in time and forward in time and all over the place.
Yeah. It's something I guess that I think that's a really brilliant observation because like, I think that is the thing that I respond to in his movies is the fact that he really does try to make better movies every time. Like, and I think that's just a likable trait to me as a filmmaker. Like he's like, I'm learning from this and I'm trying to build it better.
Remember, this is interesting. Now that I just said that, it's like, and I know this is probably obvious to most, but all of his movies have to do with the passage of time.
Yeah.
Right.
He's obsessed
Memento,
with it.
Right?
Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How time gets stretched or whatever. Yeah. Like all
Tenet.
of these do. Tenet.
Yeah.
You know, and the way
and essentially like in like Interstellar, hugely about time.
Right.
Like you're saying, like in Inception, like the speeds of time differentials between the various layers. Like this is a really important thing to him. When you're in it, it's just because like this has been said before, but like obviously he thinks a lot about like it takes 3 years to make a movie, and to me it goes by in the blink of an eye, and I'm done, and then my daughter is like 30,
right?
And I think that he's been struggling with that. Like when you love something, it like when you love something, your life just goes by instantaneously. And that's the trade-off. You can take 10, like you can struggle to get off the beach for 10 years and you're going to feel every single year. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the moment of where you want to be, that's going to be instantaneous.
Yeah. So I do appreciate those aspects of it. And I do think, like you said, it's a very good structure. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to interpret whether I think this movie is a fantastic movie or it's not, right? It tells the story and it's interesting and fun, right? And obviously there've been other stories told along these lines. Mm-hmm. And I think he did a good job. I almost wish it was a little more of an adaptation and less, because it's not literal. Right. But it's much closer to literal than I expected. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean?
Like, like it's clearly some of his, especially with the Cyclops, is like, like this is some like Ray Harryhausen shit going on here. Yeah. He's like, I love that old shit. Let's do some Clash of the Titans.
and why not? Man, that was fun.
Yeah, it's great. It's just great.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's the, like, and like, I think that his like I think the way that he handled these, like the way he handles these scenes, especially when they're really strange scenes, because I mean, like he has the story about Matt Damon, and Matt Damon's like everything about the movie is trying to make you feel like it's immediate, personal, and modern. Like the language is very modern. You hire Matt Damon because Matt Damon is going to be Matt Damon. Like he's a star, but he's like what makes Matt Damon great isn't that you would trust him with doing Shakespeare. It's that you trust him with being completely unselfconsciously himself. And that's what makes him so thoroughly believable, right?
Right.
And so to cast him in The Odyssey is, you're bringing a level of modern realism to it that I think it makes some people uncomfortable, and I get that. But it aims the movie more at, like, the point I'm making is modern. Like he's trying to force you into that zone. But at the same time, the larger scale movie is absolutely 1953 claymation attack action.
Right.
And I love that these things are like the giant ridiculousness of some of this stuff versus the incredibly intimate realism of the emotional story is sort of a radical choice. And I think like it worked for me, and it seems to have worked for most everybody. But I was like, that's the biggest roll of the dice here. When I first saw the Cyclops, I was like, are people going to buy this? Is this going to work? It's because that could have gone totally the other way. And I think that if anything, that's credit to him and his pre-movie advertising and his how he talked. He sort of set the audience up very well in their pre-advertising for what they might see. So they were ready to buy into it by the time they see it. If you hadn't done that, I think people would have seen the Cyclops and gone like, what kind of movie? What is this? Because it's like so unlike anything you've seen in the first 10 minutes. And it's just I don't know. There's Cyclopses.
Right.
Just like, go for it, guy.
Right. Or I was kind of almost hoping for the Cyclops from Kroll, but
oh yeah, now we're talking. I love the makeup on that thing where it looks like he has like a butter dish stuck to his face with an eye on top. It's absolutely incredible.
It was very clever because they made the wrinkles of the eye, but they made little slats in it. So basically his two eyes can see through the wrinkles.
It's so
and
good.
It's so stupid, but it's great.
Kroll, not a very good movie, but
not a very good movie.
Very great
movie. Weird. And then
weird movie.
I rewatched it recently and it's like, wait a minute. It's almost sci-fi then fantasy or weird.
Yeah. It's basically Star Wars Lord of the Rings. Like it's
combined.
Nuts.
Yeah. The other performance that I love to see because I think he's an underrated and fascinating actor is John Leguizamo.
Oh, Leguizamo is terrific. Yeah. Great. That's my favorite thing he's ever done. I always think he's good, but I think that this was like he was slotted into this perfectly. He
does great. He's a great big, like he can go big.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
he fits this really well. Like, and he's reached an age where you really, like, he's a good performer and storyteller, like that's, and so like, everything about him is like built to do this kind of role now. And I think he really took it home. It's sort of an easy role to get wrong. Like you could corny that up a lot, and he manages to make it the emotional center of what's happening. So it's really pretty impressive.
He also did it's a stupid movie, and it's a remake of the Australian film, but Tu Wong Fu. He played drag queen.
Yeah.
So good at that.
I love Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah.
Tu Wong Fu is a great movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But yeah, Leguizamo is always, like I said, underappreciated, I think, for what he does. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a pretty good story. I think what I'm curious about is what does this do to the Hollywood situation? Because obviously we've been talking about the independent film things and the fact that franchises are sort of disappearing, but there's also like this budget problem, right? Yeah. There's a budget problem that things are too expensive, right? So it's that he can get away with a lot. Obviously, I don't know how much this movie costs. I don't know what the budget is on it, but I'm sure it was extremely high.
Yeah, it's up there. It's really up there. I mean, the thing is, like, people rightly praise his, like, whether it's practical or not practical. Like, I mean, his attitude
"Quote
towards
unquote"
visual
authenticity.
Authenticity. Like, his attitude towards visual effects produces fantastic VFX work. Like, it's great. Like, the movie looks great, and they do a really nice job.
I mean, it's true, actually. When you say it like that, it's like if you focus on it being it's got to look as good as if it's practical or better, then all of your visual effects have to be fantastic. So then I agree, right?
Yeah.
But
like it's like he's and I think that's the way he means it when he says it. It's just like he's really trying to deliver something that welcomes you in, like that. You don't have to make it, just like, this looks fantastic, it's big, it's like, it's worth your $20, man. Like, you're gonna get $20 worth.
I get it. And going and taking The Odyssey, which is a big huge story, right? It's The Odyssey, literally.
It's mega.
And then it's like, the only way to do The Odyssey is to shoot it at IMAX.
Yeah, go all the way
for real. I mean, this is probably the best advertising for IMAX that I've ever.
And it's the whole movie, and it's really like I think that, like, I would say, if I had any note about this movie, is that it's clear when he has to move the camera a lot, that it's still a very big, heavy camera, and like when he has to do big action scenes, like, it's like that camera weighs a lot, and the camera is like, I don't like this kind of stuff, so you feel a little tiny bit there. But I think that, like, the blockbustery nature of it, like him proving that, like, blockbusters don't lose money because people don't want to go to the movies anymore. Blockbusters lose money because people don't want to see boring ass Star Wars repeats anymore. Yeah, like, that's it. People want to see fucking cyclopses. They want to see crazy shit.
Sure. And then and they want to see a good story, right? They want to see a good story. They know that when they're going to see Dune Part 3, which is, essentially a franchise, they're expecting a good story.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone's expecting a good story
of him dropping the ball now are very small, and he's been delivering both the visuals and the story really tightly.
Right. And it's going to be very interesting to see Dune and Avengers are going to come out in the theaters at the same time. Will be.
Yeah. Like, I bet Avengers will still make money. I think it's going to have short legs, and Dune will have long legs, and that's how it goes.
So that's my curiosity about this, because I know that for me, I'm way more interested in Dune than I am and the best, by the way, one of the best articles in The Onion was, Marvel executives frantically look through the roster to see if they've already released a movie called Doomsday.
Right, exactly.
Because when I saw Doomsday, I was like, didn't we already have one? It's like, oh no, that was End Days.
Yeah.
Well, okay, End Days and Doomsday. Okay, whatever. So I don't know. We'll see about that. But it is curious to see what it is. But I think you're right. So this could be like, big expensive movies aren't going away, but repeating franchises in 4-quadrant films are.
Yeah.
This didn't feel like a 4-quadrant film, The Odyssey.
No, this feels like a one shot. And it's like, it's, I know I pick on the podcast The Town sometimes, but they had a great note this past episode when said, like, are directors the new IP, right? And I was just like,
interesting.
This is an interesting way to look at it. And like,
the auteur directors, yes. Yeah. That used to be a thing.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I think that, like, certainly, like Nolan, like, because his point was like, would you rather have rights to Spider-Man or secure Christopher Nolan as your primary filmmaker? And everyone's like, Nolan. Like, because Spider-Man might go up or might go down, but people are going to keep on coming to see Nolan films. So want to lock that
but what
down.
About Spielberg?
This is true. Like, Spielberg's been, like, as he is...
Disclosure Day is already... You can already buy it on streaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And
that
it's clear,
was fast.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that, like, that there was how can I say it? Like Spielberg, it was both on with that one. I really, as we did a pod on it, like I really enjoyed Disclosure Day. I think it's a really fascinating movie. But I think it is, it's pretty clear why that movie doesn't work for most people, and it doesn't do any favors for itself in trying to get you on board, like in marketing or anything like that. So I think that I think that Spielberg doesn't have himself the identity to younger audiences that Nolan does. He's in the end of his career, and it's like, oh yes, he's famous and he's an old director and he made Jaws, but he's trailing out for them when Nolan is like he's ascendant, and so that's more valuable. Whereas and I think that the guy who made Obsession is going to be put on the fast track to stardom. Very good movie. Zach Kreger's name now comes up above the title after Weapons. He's doing Resident Evil, and it was Zach Kreger presents Resident Evil. And so I think that's this gets into me. We always talk about the 70s returning. Like we are getting into
Ryan Coogler is doing
Ryan Coogler, exactly. We're stepping back into the authorial voice kind of thing, where you're saying this director will promise, because he's so skilled and so visionary, that he's promising you that your ticket price is worth it. And as you and I know, and we've talked about many times, the actual business of filmmaking is yes, the director is very important, but it's a baseball team that makes a movie. It's a whole construction. And and even you can see that in Nolan's career, when he starts working with Hoyte van Hoytema, right, as his DP, that's about when I start really loving his movies. So I can't say that that's not part of what is happening. And Wally Pfister, very good filmmaker, photographer, did a great job with all of his former films. But there's something about Van Hoytema that really clicks with the way that Nolan talks, and it leveled up Nolan's game.
Sure.
And so when you're building, I think that that Hollywood would be wise to know that it's not just the guy, it's the team.
Yes.
You have an artistic team that when you put this soup together, it has a very special flavor. You can't just go oh, that guy, just put him on that or put his name on it, it's gonna be great. That's not necessarily true. Make sure that you sell that this is a artistic unit that is moving forward. And then you'll get more consistently great product that will continue to make you a lot more money.
I think that's very true. I mean, I think for example, we know this part of what we're doing at Monsters Moonshine is something similar, right? We're trying to make the team that makes the thing. Right. That works. And we've shot several things already, and we're the same team, same guys keep showing up, same grips, same everyone, right? So I got to know them by name, and there's a practical reason for why that works beyond the fact that you have the right vision. The practical one is your shorthand gets much shorter.
The efficiency goes through the roof.
Your efficiency goes so much higher. It saves you a lot of money.
Anything that buys you money buys you time, and anything that buys you time buys you a better movie.
I just keep thinking of my grandfather's old saying. It's I'm too poor to buy cheap shoes, right?
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Exactly, 100% true. 100% true. So and because when you look at the 70s, there were groups like Zoetrope and Another Artist and stuff like this that tried to be artist forward, but they still weren't very internally coherent, and they fell apart because of ego troubles or whatever it is. And whereas if you just look at the way that David Lynch's team, David Lynch has the same set of credits on every movie he makes for a zillion years. Jack Fisk, it's just everybody, it's all the same. And all of his movies are good. It's not a surprise. That's the team that made good movies, and they stuck together. And I think that that's as valuable as anything in terms of Hollywood trying to replace superhero franchises with superhero director franchises. Keep in mind that movies aren't made by a single person. This is a curated.
Yeah, that's true. But those guys are going to keep. If you're the director and you treat them like the superstar, then they're going to bring in the team that's going to make them succeed. So if you hired a director, you're hiring the team. You're not going to, if you're treating them like the hero, then you're not going to tell them which DP they're going to be using.
Well, it's just like, I think that everybody in town should know everybody who watches movies should know who Hoyt Van Hoytema is. It's one of the best DPs of all time. Like Roger Deakins is kind of percolated through. Like,
sure.
Like he's sort of like if you meet someone on the street, they might know his name, 1 in 100 chance, but might know his name, which is way more than say Alan Davio or Vilma Zsigmond. You mention these names, people are like, who?
Gordon Willis.
Gordon Willis. Like you can talk about those people on the street, they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I think that with what Nolan's doing, especially in that he talks about, gets people so involved in the filmmakingness of it. I would love if more identity came to those roles for people. So you'd know, like, if you were talking about a baseball team, you'd be like, this pitcher and this guy, and like,
unfortunately, it's kind of gone the way of Elon Musk, where he makes the rockets himself and he builds the cars himself. There's no other designers, no one else works at SpaceX except for Elon Musk, right? So I think that's kind of the problem with that ego-driven thing. It's like, oh no, Chris Nolan came up with all of this idea, including all the way to do the practical and how to shoot it, and that's it. Anyway, not going to say that. Listen, again, I don't think that's actually Nolan at all.
No, I don't think so.
That's the brand that they're selling, and that's fine. And I have heard him speak, and I think he's very eloquent, and I don't sense the same ego
he seems like a
stuff.
totally legit guy. Yeah.
He is very intelligent. He's very technical. He knows his stuff. There's no doubt that he knows his stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. But I don't think that he's the only one responsible. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about cameras, speaking of cameras.
Yeah.
Because it was interesting, right? Obviously, it was all shot on IMAX, and IMAX is a complicated format. I don't know if you know much about optics or if the audience knows as much about optics, but the bigger you make the film back, right? The bigger that you're shooting, the bigger the lenses you need, obviously, right? But also that changes your depth of field, right?
Yeah. Right.
So if the 70 millimeter, which is a much bigger, especially when you shoot it horizontally, it's 15 perf, it's much bigger than 35 millimeter, right? And essentially, they don't work in f-stops in film. They work in t-stops, which is close. But let's just pretend they're the same. So they used these big-ass Panavision Primo lens. By the way, we used a Primo lens, just not the same exact one. Yep. But I used these Primo lenses that have been modified to work for 70 millimeter. And they were T2s, right? So a T2 lens on a 70 millimeter is equivalent to an T1 lens on 35 millimeter. Right. Yeah, so the depth of field is insanely shallow.
Yeah.
Right? On a giant screen. And they don't have the like autofocus features of your Canon camera, right? That's probably very challenging. So you have to have incredibly good focus pulling.
Yeah. Your first
on a giant image. And so therefore, the majority of your image is actually going to be blurry.
It's a little soft. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Only the one thing. So you're dealing with this massive screen and only the eye is in focus.
It's wild. It's wild. And the thing is, like, I think that there's I love the really well thought through focus is how you direct the audience's attention.
It is and we've talked about this on the last. It is a art form that I think is massively underappreciated, and people just think of it as a very technical thing, right?
No, it's a performance.
Focus
pulling is a performance,
right?
And you get like I've seen focus pullers that are really accurate but have no sense of drama.
Yes.
And like you really have to be in tune with the actor and be like,
or sometimes you delay it just a little bit.
You just let it
get the reaction.
Let it lag just a second. It's awesome to see a great focus puller work. And,
I got a great picture of Esther, our AC, with a focus pulling in our behind the scenes.
So good, man.
She's so good. And I told her like, to give her kudos for her performance on the focus pulling, right?
Yeah.
Which people don't think of, I'm sorry to say, to do that.
This is what I'm saying, man. You should have all the baseball. You should have all the cards for all the players in the baseball
because
team.
her role in telling that story of the dialogue between our characters and the thing we did was just as important as the characters themselves.
Like you are representing the audience, and you're saying, now look.
What are you looking at? What are you focusing on? What is this? I mean, literally focusing on, right? Yeah. And it's so such an important part of what Esther does, and I was like, people need to recognize this. Yeah. And what I do remember, it was a great piece by what's his name, Harry Potter,
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe, yes, he was talking about how actors are given so much of a pass to fuck up on every take until they get it right. It's like, oh, that's okay. We'll do another take. We'll do another take. Yeah. And then the actor does the take and the focus puller just messes slightly and is like, that focus didn't work. And everyone gets, it's like the focus puller. Yeah. And the focus puller has like,
don't worry, Harry.
You have to get it right every single time or people will get angry at you.
Yeah. That's right. So, that's right.
Anyway, it's an underappreciated art. I'm just going to say. And when I heard about like what lenses they were using and how much depth. Yeah, can you imagine having to pull focus on a camera that big on those close-ups? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Or them running on a beach.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, like that is such a, like that is a, like that's not just a big scope movie in terms of like physical production and building and stuff like that. Just like working those cameras and feeding that much light into those lenses. And it's just like, oh my God, like that is just, it's such a big job. It's hard to even imagine. And to have that sort of, to end up with this sort of very personal and intimate flavor that he does is not just a commendment to his skills, but like just technical skills for everybody across the board, focus pullers, etc. You know, where you just like, you're making this feel like you're right there with Matt Damon and like a really close and intimate way. And I'm just like, there's like 100 people right around this fucking 60-pound camera on some dude's shoulder. You're trying to like, and you're making it feel like that. Kudos to you guys, man.
And they had to use mirrors to do eye lines because the camera was
mirrors
too big.
For eye lines. I saw that. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But that's like he's become a master of that of both scale and intimacy with this. And I'm really, really very impressed with.
I just wish it was more about the intimacy and less about the scale, you know, because that's the thing that I think is so interesting about him is like, he managed a really intimate story out of something that was so beautiful, right? Especially in The Return and his coming back to his wife and the discovering of the scar. Like that was a beautiful moment. I was like, it was very emotionally invested.
That's more or less the real movie he's there to make. Is everything at the end. Like it's the last 40 minutes of the movie that's the actual movie you're there to see, right? And like emotionally, and then everything to that up to that point is like
the setup.
It's the setup. I mean, and it's sort of like that's what I mean. It's like you have to like
and you have to wait for 3 hours for that to happen because otherwise it wouldn't set up right.
It wouldn't land right. Yes. And so like this is what I meant. It's just like when you have to. Like the proper edit of Tenet would be Tenet on a loop 6 times, and then the 6th time you're like, oh man, that really got me. Like that's what he's doing. He's like you have to repeat the beach this many times, and once you're there, once you finally feel physically like you've been through the ringer like Odysseus, like then we can start our movie, and it's literally 2 hours and 20 minutes into that experience when that movie starts. And then like all the stuff that he sets it up really beautifully because like my two favorite things that he did in that movie are not to do with any of the big stuff. Right? They're to do with the way he uses this sort of triangle between Athena, which is Zendaya, right? Athena, is it Telemachus? Anyway, the bad guy, right? The suitor, the lead suitor,
who's played by Benny Safdie. Is that correct?
Oh no, that's Agamemnon.
Sorry,
but like rather Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson, yeah.
So Athena, Robert Pattinson, and Synod, right? who's the soldier who is left by the horse, right? And who's the first character that you meet and see, right?
Yeah.
And you see him later in hell. And the because the struggle that Odysseus is having vis-a-vis like returning home, right, is that he is not the hero that Synod is. Synod is a true hero, but he's the one who pays the heaviest price. Like Odysseus is, when you see him from the outside, you're kind of like a, like you're a sort of a braggy, fucking violent, like
they did it. So this is the thing. So I remember from the book, right? And I remember my teacher saying, well, he's kind of an asshole. It's like, no. I want to be tied to the mast so I can hear the songs and still enjoy all of it without all the consequences of death and anything else. Right. And he kind of does that in this movie too, where he's like, no, let's just do it. Let's just go.
He's like laughing. He's like, no,
laughing about it. And then like,
fun.
Wait, and then we get through this thing and then this still kills people. Yeah. And it's like, dude, he's an asshole. Like the movie's about realizing you're an asshole. Like, I mean, like, it's spectacular because like the way to like the movie says more selfish.
Yeah, exactly. Like the movie's like bookends are Synod on one side, right? And Robert Pattinson on the other. Like, be like this. Don't be like this.
Sure.
Right. And because if you are, and Synod has the little stick, the chit that, that gets traded. So he goes instead of Pattinson. Right. And Synod wants, Odysseus to return this to Robert Pattinson. Right. Odysseus then goes on his adventures and does all, he's an asshole. Right. Straight up. Right. And then in hell, Synod's like, give that fucking thing back to him, right? Like, and in the end of the movie, he does. Spoiler alert. He jams it in his throat. And what that is symbolically doing, because now he has realized he's an asshole. That totem that he has, that little stick, right, is not about Synod and Pattinson. It's about the fact that Matt Damon realizes and feels bad for his shame. And he's forcing it into Pattinson's throat, saying, I'm never going to be like you. I am killing the you inside me, and I am accepting the Synod I should have been. Right. And so structurally, that's great. Then, with an exact same sized, virtually same shaped object, right? There is the relationship between Damon and his wife, and she gives him this object. The object is a symbol of Athena. Right.
Who follows him?
Now,
everywhere.
You don't see any other god in this movie. You only see Athena.
Yes, you hear about Poseidon.
All the other gods are abstracts.
Right.
But Athena is actually present with him multiple times in this movie. Right. And she's haunting him. But she's the brooch, essentially. And so the brooch is just like the stick with Synod. Like the brooch is the symbol of Athena, right? And it is the thing that he needs to return to his wife. Like he's like, you will know it's me because I believe in this, right? And he cannot. Wow, it gets me. Wow, it's so good. He cannot come home until he can give that to her.
Until he's earned it.
Until he has earned it. And what he is doing in relating the story of like, he's just like, I went through all these adventures, but it turns out I'm a cold, cruel, hard-hearted asshole. I'm an asshole. We burned the fucking city. We lied. And then we murdered everybody.
And then I was hanging out with Charlize Theron for 7 years, and she was really hot.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like this broke the world. My great cleverness broke the world.
Sure.
Right. And the ghost that's been haunting me isn't Athena herself.
Sure.
It's the memory of this random woman that was murdered by my men. Like, this is the wrong that I did, and I must atone for it because of what I believe in is Athena, which is what we share. That is the home that I have to return to, right? And it's not until he gives that back to her that he is cleansed of his guilt. Between those two things, the Pattinson and the Zendaya of it, right? Like, those are the two characters that allow him finally to be home. And it's such a clean, brilliant structural metaphor. That's why that ending lands like gangbusters. All the rest of the movie, all of the rest of the movie is just adding momentum to that ball. To like, it's like that stuff is like the arrow. It's the point of the arrow. The rest of the movie is the shaft of the arrow driving the point forward. And like, you have to go through 3 hours, all of this. And then you go, oh shit, that got me, like, it seems like there's no like deep character stuff when all it's doing is going, you just hang on. I'm going to knock that thing out of the park. And then he does. And it's terrific work.
Yeah, I think it was very good. I think he executed very well. I did not feel the same thing because it was a little too much sauce for
it's a long road to hoe. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's not just a long road because I don't mind a long film, as you know, and I don't care, right? Like, if you watch Paris, Texas, it's a long, slow freaking thing until he finally gets to see his But the payoff at the end, the scene in Paris, Texas is very similar to the scene in Odyssey. I'm just going to say she's just behind a curtain as opposed to being in a.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's one of the best scenes of all time.
Yes, but there's a lot of similarities between those two scenes where he admits who he is, admits all the mistakes he's done. I do think Paris, Texas, this ending scene in Paris, Texas, and the ending scene in Odyssey are basically parallels.
Yeah, and and like there's no see fucking Paris, Texas, dude. Like, if anybody listening to this has not seen Paris, Texas, it's one of the greatest films ever made.
It is the Odyssey in a lot of weird ways.
It's the Odyssey, only with Harry Dean Stanton.
It's like, with Harry Dean Stanton and no cyclopses. But,
exactly.
Yeah. And if you want to see another version of it, go see Oh Brother, We're Out There. It's hilarious.
This is a well-trodden tale that's good every time.
It's been told a million ways. It's been told in very interesting ways. People do this, right? Like, people take Shakespeare and they reinterpret them in the Odyssey. And so I was curious it was interesting for me to see Nolan do it way more literally than I expected.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Right.
It felt it felt borderline Peter Jackson. Like,
it's
Peter
very
Jackson
close to Peter Jackson.
You know what I mean?
Land. Yeah.
Right. But I was kind of, I wonder what Villeneuve would have done to this, or someone like that.
Well, yeah, like Villeneuve would have, I think you would have been much more character forward through the entire thing.
Sure.
Right? But you still would have delivered loads of big visuals and like some set piece stuff. But I feel like that, like, he's almost the reverse of what, the way that, Nolan works.
Yeah.
Like, Villeneuve is very, like, he'll show you the big stuff, but it's always very restrained. And then he'll let it break just a little bit, like he'll crack the egg just a little tiny bit at the end. And that's when you get the payoff. But for him, it's like, play all your cards as close to the chest as you possibly can the entire time. Right. And Nolan's like, what if we just start throwing cards at the audience? Let's just go crazy. But yeah, no, I feel like I appreciated the Jacksonness of this attempt. I thought it was just good old fashioned fun at the movies for the bulk of it.
For sure. And the experience was great. I do think it's funny that all of a sudden everyone has become such a film connoisseur and snob.
That's funny. Bring it on, really? Man. It's great. Be a nerd. It's great.
I know, but it's
silly. But yeah, it's fun. Like, everyone should have fun talking about this stuff because it's all dumb, but get on board. It's fun.
No, it's all good. Because if that's what brings people to the theaters, and that's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was totally worth it in that sense. I do think this movie's going to have a little bit more legs. Because there's been other spectacle movies, right?
Yeah.
Like the Avatar, right? Avatar didn't have as long a life as most people had it because, we've already seen this movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we talked about this before. Like, I think that all three Avatar movies are good movies. I think that for me, like,
they're just the same movie.
It's just like, yeah, it's like depending upon what you're going there for.
Sure.
There's slightly different flavors, but it's more.
Sure.
It's more of the same stuff. It's great. Enjoy.
Sure. Beautiful.
Right? Beautiful. It's a good time in the movies. This is great.
And also, by the way, Cameron is a fantastic action director. Probably the best.
Absolutely.
Out there right
I mean,
now.
it's and like especially the last for me, like the action in the last one was some just mind blowing. I
thought the action in the second one was,
but the action in the second one is equally as
right.
nuts. Like it's
especially
so well choreographed.
when they're in the upside down submarine stuff
and pure insanity. Like the guy's an incredible talent, 100%.
Yeah.
But like you can tell that like like that is fallen more into the we're a little tired of this zone for audiences, and they're going to have to wait a little bit longer before they can do it again, right?
Yeah.
And whereas like the Odyssey, they're not going to be making Odyssey 2. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to make the Odyssey 2, and they're not going to make Oppenheimer 2.
They're not making Oppenheimer 2.
And I think but it's interesting because they have made the Odyssey before, or they've made versions of the Odyssey before, right? So that is also, like, it's like, okay, well, let's do Hamlet, whatever it is, what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is a classic story that's going to be done in an interesting way.
Right.
And I think that is,
well, this is
this
is how I always feel about like whatever. Like no one calls it a remake of Hamlet. Like it's just Hamlet. It's just a new version of Hamlet. And that's just because the assumption when you're doing Hamlet is that you are doing some new version that nobody has.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're bringing you to the table. That's
Chris
why
Nolan's Hamlet, right? Or
yes,
Chris Nolan's
exactly.
The Odyssey,
like you want to see whatever this guy's interpretation of it is, right? That's the proper way to be making any movie,
for sure.
Like that's just like I don't care. Remake shit up and down the line. I don't care. It's fine.
Right.
I mean, the Odyssey, whether or not it's the Odyssey, you've seen it in 100 other movies in your life, right? It's like we keep on retelling that tale, but it's the way that you retell it and the flavors that are unique to you as an artist that make it actually interesting.
It was interesting because also I was thinking about the fact that, we've talked about the parallels between now and the 1960s and 70s and how things were happening. But one of the types of quote unquote franchises or types of movies that was part of the downfall of the older Hollywood was the ridiculously expensive epic biblical movies, right?
Yeah, the Sword and Sandals movies.
The Sword and Sandals days and the Cleopatra was one of the big ones, right? That movie was insanely expensive and did not go over very well.
Yeah, no. If you watch it today, it's pretty good. It's just
it's pretty good, but it's so old fashioned, right?
Yeah.
And so I have a feeling that there's going to be this, like I talk about this all the time, like Anti-Mame and Easy Rider are only a few years apart, right?
Yeah,
and it's
wild. That's like
such a different kind of movie.
Yeah.
So I have this feeling that there's going to be this moment where people are going to look at like, I don't know, Avengers film and Backrooms and realize they're only just a few years apart.
You can't believe these things came in within the same couple of years or whatever it is. And just like there's a like it's like if anyone wants here's a great movie recommendation for anybody. If anyone's not seen Hiroshima Mon Amour, wonderful film, incredible
very good film.
Within that movie, like the movie is it takes place in Hiroshima and it is about a French woman in her mid to late 30s who falls in love with a Japanese guy, right? And so you're seeing post-war Japan, right, in Hiroshima, and it feels like this, like it's like late 50s, early 60s, and it's very modern. Like you're just like, it looks modern by today's standards. Like, wow, it's a hip, happening, cool place, neon, all this stuff, right? And she is struggling emotionally with these flashbacks to when she was in France, and she fell in love with a German soldier who was occupying France, right? And when it cuts back to that, like cuts back to like France, and she's like 16 or 17 years old, right? And it feels like it's the 1400s by comparison. And you're like, that can fit in one life? That much of a societal change can be within.
A lot happened between World War II and post-World War II.
Yeah, it's just like, it's really, really, really shocking. And you can see that between the 1950s and the 1960s in film, it feels like we're missing 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's just like, everything just goes like just off in an entirely
Well,
different direction.
we've had this discussion about it with Devil Wears Prada, where it's the opposite problem, right?
Yeah,
Between
now we're the
2006 and 2026, nothing changed.
Yeah.
Well, at least
Right.
that's my thesis,
Yes,
and I wrote a blog
absolutely
post about it.
stagnant. Yeah. And all we can
Completely
do is
creatively
infight.
stagnant, right?
Yeah.
I was just having this feeling now because I'm getting all of this stuff from Comic-Con, because Comic-Con is happening right now. And I was like thinking about this. I was like, there's something about Comic-Con that upsets me.
Tell me more. Sounds amazing.
I believe that the Comic-Con film, when Comic-Con suddenly became about movies and not about comic books,
Mhm.
then it kind of destroyed both.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right? Because then it's all about like
Then it's about this business that
cosplay,
surrounds
weird
these-
bullshit stuff that
Yeah,
has
and,
nothing
like
to
it ruins the movies, it ruins comics. Like it's
and they're
like,
all and suddenly now it's just like we're just going to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and just it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
I have no problem with people really getting into comics or getting into
I love
stories or
comics.
superheroes,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah, all of this are fantastic, but it kind of ruined both because Comic-Con was comic books, especially independent comic books, were interesting, fascinating. Comic-Con has nothing to do with that. It's
Yeah, and-
all corporate franchises right
this
now.
is all generic. It's toothpaste culture. It's just like this is like
Yes,
absolutely dull.
And that's the problem I have is like you look at what like nothing innovative happened after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if that's all people want, Hall H is listen, I watched the Fall Guy funny movie, by the way.
Oh, very
the
funny.
big plot of that film is literally them making a ridiculous movie that
Mhm.
are like, oh, we get this right. We get to be in Hall H at Comic-Con for this one shot.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I was like, that's the plot of the movie.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And from what I understand, that is no longer true at Comic-Con. I think the Comic-Con was like, what happened?
I don't know what happened.
All of our movie deals disappeared. This is bad news. Yeah. Which is good for comics and good for movies and good for
that's
Comic-Con probably.
good. But I mean, she's, what's his name? Ryan Gosling is playing Ghost Rider now. So I was like, ugh.
Yeah, well, give it a shot, I guess. I mean,
I
like I
guess.
said, I'm wide open, man. Make a good movie. I'm totally on board. It's fine.
And Guillermo
Like,
del Toro is going to this big lecture about AI and say, fuck AI. And everyone's cheering and clapping at Comic-Con. And it's like, Jesus Christ, guys, you guys are eating
yeah,
the
it's all
toothpaste.
bandwagony nonsense. Like,
Yes.
just make things well. That's it. That's your job. Make things well. That's
Yeah.
all you got to do. And it's just like the Comic-Con effect on comics.
And by the way, if
yeah.
anyone takes this as me being defensive of AI, you missed the boat.
Yeah, this is like
You missed it completely.
All of that argument is like if people like, oh, well, I was using Photoshop to paint this, and someone's just like, oh, Photoshop does X, blah. I'm just using this thing that so I can do the thing that I'm trying to do.
Right.
Like there's a thing available to me. If it works, I'll use it. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to use it. Don't worry about it. Like put that stuff off the table. The reason why you're upset is because most people aren't very good at doing these things, yet these tools have made it possible for them to fill your feed with garbage. And I understand you're mad.
Sure.
But as professionals, I promise you, we don't get paid unless the shit is good. So if it gets in the way of that, we won't use it. If it helps us do it, we'll use whatever works. But don't concern yourself with it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
That's like people being, like getting in the mix of people that use, if someone said like, well, people that use Arriflex cameras aren't artists. Only people that use Panavision cameras are artists. Like, you bet. Like, it's difficult to use anyway to make a good movie. Making the good movie is the goal. That's all we got to do.
It's whatever.
Like, because with Guillermo del Toro and with
it's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this specific film. Is like, let's talk about the art of the film and not about the craft, right?
Right. Because
I don't mind talking about the craft too. I mean, we had a long section where we just talked about the lenses, but still.
Like, part of the reason the movie is so beautiful is because of Chris Nolan's idea about of how visual effects should be done and the level to which they should be done. And because of that, he uses a lot of practical. Because using a lot of practical gives you, when you're doing all the CG and all that, it gives you great reference. It gives you
Grounding.
like, it really grounds everything and makes the whole project work better. Incidentally, it's fucking phenomenally expensive to do it the way he does it. Like, everybody doesn't get to do that.
Right.
Like, you guys, the audience, us, me, you guys still want to see 30 new good movies a year. And we can't spend Christopher Nolan money on that. And you still want to see the big stuff when we can't do it this way. We got to do it in a way that we bring the cost down and make the movie work anyway. Like, that's just how it is if you want to see this stuff. It's too expensive. So what all of our conversations are about is, if you want great art that you deserve for $20 a ticket, like, it's our job to bring the costs down everywhere. Like, no more bean counting Hollywood bad producing nonsense. No more studios and super expensive franchises operating like that. Small creative teams that maintain creative control, delivering great stuff to you, is what we need to do. That's our job. Everything else is the tools of how we do that. We can talk about it, but the goal is that, and the costs have to come down. If Christopher Nolan can come in and spend $250 million to make something that beautiful, that's worth the $250 million, right?
Sure.
Nobody else has $250 million. We have to figure out how to do it anyway. That's where everybody else is.
Well, that's the thing, right? So how are they going to, I mean, it's easier for them to sell more Avengers, or it used to be, right? Now with Nolan is like, that's the only thing they have to sell. So how do I sell more Nolan tickets is to lie about visual effects, right?
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Right.
Fine. If that's what it takes, I guess that's what it takes. It just sucks for the people who do the visual effects because.
But we have two great things happening right now. Is one, they're because the studios are collapsing, right?
Yeah.
And it's being proven that people do want to watch good movies.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you make the money, right? That audiences are looking for risky, interesting things, right? That there are numerous new ways to make things look great and keep the costs relatively low. And that's not just AI, that's all sorts of things, but to bring the cost down so we can make great movies for you, the audience, right? That's good. And also the audience is getting savvier and smarter about what it is they like and articulating that, because they realize, after seeing 2 decades of garbage superhero films, that it isn't the visual effects that make the movie good. Like, they're bored of visual effects, no matter how spectacular they are. It's the story, it's the characters, right? So they're actually pretty flexible on the style of those visual effects. So you can get pretty arty and non-real now. Like, you watch what's popular on YouTube, like you can do stuff with, like, you can have like people are throwing around clips from the silent film version of Faust from back in the 20s. Where it's like giant puppet dragon and all sorts of weird shit. And they're like, this looks amazing. And I'm like, damn straight, it looks amazing.
Yep.
Like, and that's totally valid filmmaking back then and today. And today, people are into it again after 20 years of Marvel. If I had shown people Faust and said, look at these amazing visual effects 10 years ago, they would have been like, looks like a puppet, dude. That sucks. It's not real. Look at the photorealism on Thor's hammer. That's filmmaking, right? Now audiences are actually open to interesting, weird, cool stuff that is also less expensive. So that's what we have to aim for across the board. One way to solve it is to make Obsession, which is shot in 3 places with 5 people, right?
Yeah.
But if you want something like The Odyssey that doesn't cost $250 million, let us figure this out. We'll get it there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good. I think it shows that there's a wide range of movies out there that are popular. This one seems to be one of them. And Obsession and Backroom seems to be another. And it shows there's a lot of range.
Yeah.
Big spread. I think the other thing that Brady keeps talking about, how he thinks it's hilarious, is that there's been a lot of memes apparently about people watching The Odyssey and being freaked out by the trailer to The Other Mother, The Other Mommy.
Other Mother, yeah, right. Or Other Mommy, unfortunately called Other Mommy when it should be Other Mother, but that was taken by, what's the name of the movie? The animated movie, Coraline. Coraline
right.
is the other mother. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting films and a lot of great stuff. Horror's back, and I mean, I don't know.
It's great, dude. Like this,
I'm curious to see the end of Oak Street as well.
That director is fantastic. The trailer, I was like, maybe this will work. I don't know, but the director is great. He did It Follows, and he did a movie that nobody saw, a very weird movie called Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield. Which is terrific.
It Follows was really interesting.
Yeah, like that guy's he's got a.
That was one of his first films. It was Detroit, right? It was in
yeah. Like that's a really, really great. He's a very inventive director, a very inventive filmmaker, and his flavor is unlike anything else. So I look forward to seeing if this thing works. But I feel like just movies are getting more interesting. People are going to them more, and they're getting weirder and more interesting.
There's definitely an uptick in this area that people seem to be. I mean, it's ironic, right? How is it that the film industry is "quote unquote" dying when there's more interest in movies that's ever been?
The film industry is changing.
Yeah, thank you. Changing. That's what I was leading to. Yes, it's changing, and so it feels like it's dying. What's dying is the old ways of making movies.
Yes, that's right. There's no more 3,000 people working on the Battle of Wakanda. It's not the way it's going to be done. No. I was one of those 3,000 people, and I'm happy those days are gone.
There was 1,000 people that worked on the Odyssey, at least.
Yeah. But you end up with the Odyssey.
Right?
That's pretty great.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see Nolan do a small budget film. They couldn't sell that.
I don't know what I don't know what that.
Can you imagine seeing Nolan try to pull off a $20 million film or a $10 million film?
Because I want the same for Scorsese, man. I just want just bring it down. Get you and 2 other people and run around in New York. That's what you did great.
He's a little old for that. He needs a little extra budget for that.
Roll him around in the the little protective ball or whatever it is, and keep him jacked with vitamin C. He'll make it. He'll do it. Taxi Driver 2. You can pull it off. Get Jodie.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just cool. I think, to think about these filmmakers. And listen, Ridley Scott's still making interesting films. And
his new movie looks good.
George Miller is still making interesting films. I think I'm not necessarily saying that there's an age where people should. I think it's great that there's a range of filmmakers out there. That there's a lot of people can do some great stuff. Different ages. Doesn't matter. Fresh ideas are fresh ideas, right? And that's the thing. And I bet you all filmmakers have fresh ideas that are worth pursuing, right?
Yep.
I was just talking about it with Bruce Riley. I just watched for the first time Sorry to Bother You. And
I love that movie. That movie's nuts.
Crazy nuts. Interesting film. I didn't realize it was kind of a sci-fi film.
when it really goes off the rails.
It goes off the rails.
What is happening?
Yeah. So I just think it's a fascinating film director. Like that's a person. I want to, who I want to hang out. I want to hang out with the Daniels. I want to hang out with Bruce Riley. I want to hang out with
dude.
What's the guy's name? One Battle After Another guy. No, that's P.T. Anderson, which I also do want to hang out. But who am I thinking of? Civil War guy. What's his name?
Oh, Alex Garland.
Alex Garland. Yeah. Those guys. Let's hang out with all those guys.
Those are the cool dudes, man. Most of these guys, like Alex Garland's, I love the last 2 28 Days Later movies, and they were just they're low budget. They're screwing around, trying stuff out. And I'm like.
28 years later. Yeah, you're talking about 28 years later in the Bone Temple.
And Bone Temple, yeah. And
I haven't seen Bone Temple.
It's good. Yeah. But
I did see 28 years later, and I do want to see Bone Temple because I was fascinated by the guy who owns the Bone Temple. What's his name?
Oh, it's great. Actor. Yeah. Well, then you're gonna love Bone Temple, man. It's it's a
because you look at the trailer and you think he's a freaking crazy man, and you're anticipating this the whole time, and turns out you were wrong.
Yeah. No, those are really that's the kind of stuff I've been thinking a lot about because I watch that I watch tons of Hammer horror films and stuff like
yes,
this.
You and Caesar over.
I love these movies. And
on our Discord talk about Hammer horror constantly. Which is great. I love it. I'm so excited for you guys.
And the thing is I don't.
It's good for you.
I watch literally one a day. I'll have something on Christopher Lee or whatever. It's I love these movies. And I understand that people think of these things as cheesy or cheap or dumb or whatever.
We talked about this with spaghetti westerns too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I do not see it that way. I watch them and I take them seriously. Like, I'm just like, this is just spooky and cool and feels like a dream. And I love these things. Right. And what I really love about them is that they are utterly unself-conscious. Like, they don't spend any time trying to get you to believe in vampires. Like, they're just like, there's vampires and here's Dracula. Like, they just go for it. And this is the kind of, and because of that, because they don't waste any time, they have so much more room to just like fuck around. Like, you already bought the ticket. Why not just do some weird stuff, you know?
Right.
And so the movies aren't like totally coherent all the time, but they've always got something in it that you're like, whoa, that was weird. Like, that was a really strange thing to do. Sure. And that kind of innovation, because they were churning these things out, they're just like, get that stuff out. You know, if you churn and burn and you're a creative person, you're going to make more interesting things than if you overthought it.
Right.
And that's why those movies are fascinating to me. That's what happened with 28 Days Later. They were just like, let's make another one. Let's make Bone Temple. This is really fun. And they just go for it. And it's a all over the place movie. But when it is going, like, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Just like, that is amazing. That's amazing. That's what you want to see. That's what I want Hollywood to be doing. Like, roll those dice, man. That's what
and the fact is, you know what? Here's the those films are actually cheaper to make.
Mm-hmm. That's how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you
just make more things that are different for less money, and you might have a couple of big hits.
Yeah. Like, you can just fucking go for it. And like, people, if it's cool, people will eat it up. You don't need $128 million. You don't need AI. You don't need anything. You can just make something weird and just go for it.
Yeah, you don't even need to shoot it in Vancouver if you don't want to.
You just do it.
You can if you want to. I don't care.
Like, use whatever you want to use. I'm not gonna get in the way.
If you make a movie about Vancouver, go to Vancouver. Don't go there and pretend it's New York.
Yeah, exactly. Don't like none of the, like, this, and I'll say this about AI, just like, because Vancouver is the AI of cities, right? Like, that's what it is. Like, yes, you can use this well, and you can shoot. I'm sorry,
shit Vancouver,
there that
you said that, but that's very funny.
Right? You can do it. If you don't do anything, it's just going to look like Vancouver, and everyone's going to know. Like, that's how this is how you have to use tools properly. Like, okay, you got to shoot in Vancouver. Do everything you can to make it not look like Vancouver, and then you're making a good movie.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good to talk about The Odyssey. What movies are you looking forward to seeing next?
Oh man,
I've got a ridiculous one, but go ahead. Tell me what you're.
Oh man,
in theaters.
My brain is clear until Dune 3. I know there's more, but like, Dune 3 is just dominating my imagination. I also saw this is TV, but I was modestly excited by the Neuromancer trailer. Like, maybe they've done a decent job. So that was good.
I'm excited about Neuromancer too, but
go for it.
In theaters right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably it may only last a couple more days, but I'm going to watch it. Pinocchio Untangled.
Yeah, part of the Winnie the Pooh at Blood and Honey set. Yeah,
yes. And that one, they made it for a lot more money. They made it for $500,000.
Oh man, they're breaking the bank on that thing.
It's 123 minutes.
My God.
Oh no, so not 100. It's 83 minutes. So it's
83 minutes. That's perfect.
83 minutes.
That's more in the right ballpark. Yeah,
83 minutes. So an hour and 23 minutes or something. Yes.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, good for those guys, man. Like, that's
they've done they're calling it part of their universe. They call it Twisted Childhood Universe or something like that.
Love it. Eat it up. Like, because I am trying to stick to this idea, right? Like, because I am the guy who I've rewatched Sean Connery in Outland, I don't know, 70 times.
Sure.
Like,
that's a good film.
It's a good movie. Is it Alien? No. But it's really cool. It's really cool, right?
It doesn't have to be Alien.
It doesn't have to be Alien. And so when I see a movie that comes out that's like a little wobbly but cool, like, I shouldn't bring my my film critique upturned nose to anything.
No.
Like I should just be like, you do have a Blu-ray of The Keep. Always have that in your mind, Dan. You own a Blu-ray
Sure.
of Michael Mann's The Keep. So you talking like some movie is beneath your notice is a lie.
There's no movie beneath. And in fact, I like to bring up stupid movies way more often in this than you do, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I like a good classic film. You know, I can sit here and talk about The Bicycle Thief and in the same sentence
these are wonderful
as
films. Incredible.
Pooh, Blood and Honey, but those are
meet
both
the movie
films.
where it's meeting you. Like that's it. If you're going to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, don't go in with your Bicycle Thief blinders on. Like go in with the Winnie the Pooh on.
I gotta say, there was a moment I was rewatching The Studio, right? And Seth Rogen, whatever, he brought up his executive, and he was dating a child oncologist, right? In the movie and in the series. And he's talking about the art of filmmaking, and they're like, well, that's not all art, right? And he's in the middle of editing a Johnny Knoxville film about zombies that infect each other by pooping on each other, right? On peeping in you, right? And it's ridiculous diarrhea everywhere. It's just really gross and hilarious, right? And he makes the argument, no, it's all art. Everything from Casablanca to that movie, it's all art. And I think that that's true, and I think we should all appreciate that.
I think that's the core of everything. Like you're gonna you will be in love with the movie. However, you're in love with the movie. Like I mean, I'm as prone to get hyper intellectual about breaking down how Last Year Marion Bad works as anybody. Like I ain't film nerd in the world. That is how I love. That's how I love to talk about that movie. That's how I love to experience that movie. Right. And that's where the movie's meeting me at that level. I will arrive at the movie at that level, and that's where the love exists. That's great. But I am not doing that with Terror Train. Like I am meeting Terror Train where it's at. I'm not there to talk about the effect of what are the influence of Dadaism on the formal nature of the such and such. That's not part of this discussion. What I'm here to do is watch some heads roll, and that's what I'm in love with, because that's what's fun. That's the joy of the thing. And I don't think you should ever, and this is the difference between old me now and young me way back when, is I thought that there were the more refined your tastes got, the deeper the more real the love was you felt. No, it's just not true. The love is the same. How you talk about it may be different depending upon the context. But the love is the same. And so nothing is beneath anything because it's all a part of you. And if you're honest, you're just experiencing that.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Well, cool, man. I appreciate it. And thanks so much for helping me get through this and talking about The Odyssey. I think there's going to be some great films coming up. And yes, I am excited for Dune 3, and I'll probably see Avengers 2, but I'm not as interested.
I'll give it a shot. If I'll go in with an open mind. If people tell me that it's worth the money, I'll go in.
But I think that there's more interesting things happening, and it's constantly discovering. It's I just saw what's it called, the Invite, and that was fascinating and fun.
I think she's a terrific director. I've been dying to see
a great
that
director, right? And so I think that the problem I have honestly with the theater is that they leave the theater too quick. By the time you decide to see a movie, it's already gone sometimes. And
I wanted to see Death of Robin Hood, and that was gone before I even heard that it was out.
Right.
And that's
they
why
are
the guy
so
Pig,
quick to
really
put it on
loved,
streaming. The tickets dropped a little bit. Boom, done. It's you don't have a chance. So that's my problem right now. Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
On a deadline postponed.